back here on the platform today and speaking about the fly fishing industry in the country. And when we take our next break, we're going to be joined by Julius Guthrie.
You know, I don't think you gentlemen have anything to be concerned about, because this industry is bigger than the naysayers. Come September, they'll be meeting at the UN to deal with what we call the Sustainable Development Goals. Mr. Jones, the 14th Sustainable Development Goal is the protection and enhancement of your terrestrial ecosystems. That's what that's all about. The government ain't got no choice in that. And some of the issues which he raised will fall under that. So that the handwriting is on the wall.
Yeah, but fine. But these gentlemen, they're here to protect their industry.
Yeah.
And so that their livelihood is protected.
That's what the whole thing is about. Sustainability and protecting the livelihood. And whoever do not want them to succeed, that's poppycock.
Yeah, but the point, Mr. Smith, is while you have anglers coming to the Bahamas who want the industry to be protected too, but they don't want to pay for guides in the Bahamas. They want the industry protected. The people in New York who want to put up money to protect the resources, they want it protected so that they can come and enjoy the Bahamas. But they must be prepared to pay for guides to take them out, and they must be prepared to pay a license to fish as well. That is what you're saying, right?
Yes, I think that the many naysayers that are out there, if you look at it, and these things will fall by the wayside, it's like you have the world's richest diamond mine, and you had no laws in place. Anyone can come in and take a shovel full. And so the many issues you talk about, do it yourself, has a lot to do with hundreds of illegal businesses being run. Everyone was capitalizing, as Denny will tell you, and Julius and Nathaniel, on, you know, if I could rent my home out to a group of anglers because you got great flats, then they realize it's a growing trend. Then the mothership decides, well, I have this big yacht, I can put 4 flats boat on it, and now it becomes a floating fishing lodge. But all of those things are a symptom as a result of this great resource we have. And so a lot of people who are making noise and are opposed to this is because they've gotten away with so much that rightfully belongs to the Bahamian people. And so to me, it's staying focused on the benefit that will derive from the legislation, and the naysayers are people who have been benefiting because we didn't have anything in place. All of the illegal, and there's many, I can tell you, gentlemen, I got tired of taking photographs and phone calls from all over the country, motherships at Moores Island, Abaco, Grand Bahama, Crooked Island, Aucklands, the Berry Islands. And when I went to Cabinet in 2002, what the present Prime Minister, and tell you, they were shocked that I didn't go there presenting one single thing for myself. What I showed them was, this is what I heard in the southern Bahamas and the northern Bahamas. And what they all have in common, all of these illegal businesses running because of this rich resource we have. So the legislation is laying the foundation so that the Bahamian people will now benefit from it.
How are you dealing with the fallout? I think you told me, Mr. Gilbert, that in Cat Island you had some business and people cancelled. I believe people cancelled with you at Stafford Creek, as well as with Mr. Rankin in Savannah Sound. How are you dealing with the fallout, the public relations fallout of all of this?
Go on, Danny.
I'll tell you, there's not much you could do about the lost income right now, because what happened already happened. But I have, over the past several months, been speaking to especially many homeowners, second homeowners, and trying to enlighten them as far as, you know, these regulations go. And a lot of them been quite surprised because what they were getting was quite different. You know, it's this is anti-American, anti-foreign, or the second homeowners will not be able to fish anymore. They ain't gonna be able to own their own boats anymore. All that stuff is absolute garbage. And I think what we need to do is this DIY has been going on for so long and has been promoted by certain parties. Their fear seemed to be that we discontinue that. People, or this is what they try to make you believe, that people are going to stop coming. That's junk. Once somebody knows what to expect when they come in, and again, I spoke with a lot of my clients, and as long as they know before they leave home that there's going to be a cost associated with a certain service, they come prepared to pay that. If they're not aware of that, and that is what certain parties have been doing, they've been telling these people, you can come in and do this free. Like that, you know, I mean, people make a bunch of noise and it come in, and eventually you learn to deal with it, and blam, that is the way it is. These people, after a certain period of time, realize, hey, there's a cost associated with that. They're here and they're willing to pay for it. All of them are. I have yet to receive one negative response.
You've not received a negative response, but weren't there people who cancelled?
That is these guys canceled before ever getting to know me or to meet me. And I've learned that they've canceled because they've gotten word, you know, and several of these second homeowners has been telling me that they've canceled. These people have been canceling because they've been told that I'm a part of this anti-foreign or anti-American movement that want to deny them the right to come here and fish.
I see. Mr. Gilbert, you had one cancellation, you say?
Well, so far.
So
This week, yeah.
What has been the reaction, gentlemen, to certification? You know, any Tom, Dick, and Harry, you can't be no guide. All right.
Absolutely.
How does an individual know, a fisherman know, that he has a well-trained guide? You see, because all these kind of things, the lack of these things will give your industry a bad name.
Right.
You need to have standards.
Right.
And you know, there's already having the regulations, but what are the standards for being a guide?
Well, this association, part of our plan is to, number one, before you are granted a license to become a guide, where you're able to take folks out there and collect payment for it, you have to become certified. And although you have other parties out there that feel that Ministry of Tourism or whoever else should certify these guides, my position on it, and this is my personal position on it, and it is also the position of the board, that is rubbish. Who is better qualified in this country to certify a guide to go out there and be able to deal with people, do whatever else is necessary, than the people that are involved in this industry?
So the association should do this.
Absolutely.
No, the association can also act as a discriminatory body too.
Yeah, and
You know who's the best person to do that?
your view on that.
BAMC. That's the best.
Well, do they have people that are
That's the best.
I would like to know, do they have people that are qualified in this area?
We can hire some of y'all, right, to teach some of the courses, not all of the courses, right? And you do a joint curriculum, which the individual has to pass through, and on completion of the curriculum, you get a certificate.
Absolutely.
If you can't pass it, if you can't read and write, if you can't do certain literate activities, you don't get it.
Well, shouldn't some people be grandfathered in? I mean, you
Right.
have people who have been guides, Godfrey Aeneas,
Yeah.
for 30, 40 years. Now you're going to tell them that in order for them to be certified as a guide, BAMC got to do that?
No, I'm not
Come
saying,
on, please.
no, I'm not saying that.
Huh?
No, but what you can do, because a guy, I've been with my grandpa for 20 years, that makes me qualified to be a
No,
guide?
no,
Yeah, but
no,
people
no.
should be grandfathered in, eh?
No,
Yes,
I'm not,
yes.
I'm not disputing that,
Yeah.
but don't make it sound ridiculous now.
Yeah,
No,
we-
no, no, but
No, don't make it sound
I gotta
ridiculous.
make it sound ridiculous.
No.
If Mr. Gilbert in Cat Island has been a guide for how long? 30 years? Now you.
No, I'm not disputing that.
Hey, hold on, hold your horses. The point is that there are some people who have been guides for 30, 40 years who know the Bahamas like they know the palm of their
Yeah, they
hands.
do with architects and all kind of people that grandfather in.
Right.
Yeah.
But because he don't like me,
No.
and I qualified, should I put myself in a position to be denied certification because he don't like me or they don't like me?
The,
No, that shouldn't be.
the association has an official position
Yes.
on,
Somebody's phone ringing.
Somebody's
But anyway,
phone,
go
yeah.
ahead. Go on,
Yeah.
Mr. Smith.
no, the association has an official
Turn off your
position.
phone and saying this.
Yeah, the association has an official position on all of these things. I was involved in a training program for over 15 years. I traveled throughout the Bahamas training hundreds of guides.
Yes.
And there is a certification manual. What was passed with this legislation that the government recognized that BFFIA will be the certification body, and of course working along with your suggestion is certainly a positive idea, but also in the recommendations that guides who have been guiding for a certain amount of years will be grandfathered in. And there's also a recommendation that if you can have a regular guide's license or a master guide license for someone who's been guiding 10 years and more. These are official positions that the association has put forward.
Okay. Now, what do you say about ownership of fly fishing lodges or bone fishing lodges in the country? You say you want to control the industry. I understand that there are many foreigners who own these lodges in the Bahamas. And I'm not too sure that they are all on board with your association and what you are seeking to achieve.
As a matter of fact, we've been getting a lot of pushback, but I want to speak very clear on that position. As a Bahamian who own a lodge, but also I listen to the Bahamians who are in a real difficult situation because of bad policy. 70% of the Bahamians who have lodges are not making their bank payments, not because this industry is not huge potential in it. If someone have lodges in New Zealand and Ireland and Alaska, Canada, and they now can build lodges throughout the Bahamas, they don't have to have any clients come and fish with Julius or Denny or Nathaniel. They just simply move their clients from one facility to the next. And so the government has to understand that in a country where you have your citizens with the expertise to develop this industry, you also have policies that recognize for foreign investment. It is the position, my personal position, having seen it on both sides, that any lodge in this country going forward should be a minimum of majority Bahamian ownership, because the industry networks around you beyond just the lodge and the guide. For example, I spoke to a guide in Abaco this morning, and the lodge is filled to capacity, when Bahamians think it's just the season. And here was one of the major fly line companies with a group of anglers doing research in the lodge. And these are all expenses written off as, company expense.
And this lodge in Abaco is
Yeah.
owned by a foreigner?
Yeah, which is a foreign person. owned
Let
the
me
lodge.
ask you a
Hold on,
question.
I want to finish this.
Yeah, and so when you talk about Bahamians being allowed to develop this industry, it means then 3M company now goes to that foreign lodge, and all of the Oakleys and Costa del Mar. So the research, what is taking place on our flats, and the other thing that's happening is major research in bonefish, the mangroves, these things go around the college, they go around BAMSI. And so one of the recommendations of this association is that all research in this country should be through BAMSI and the College of the Bahamas.
Do any kind of research.
Yes.
I want to do research.
You see?
You have to have, I don't care what kind of research it is, you have to have permission from the government.
Right. But what
So these people got permission from the government?
well, what they're doing, and one of the meetings we've had with Minister Gray, some of the foreign advocates within the room saying that they like the fee structure, the permit structure that goes through marine resources, and they don't want that to change. But what happens is BAMSI, the College of the Bahamas, is totally outside of the loop. And so many anglers who we fish, they have foundations that they have to give the monies away. And so what again is our resources are being used to raise millions of dollars to the detriment of our institution of higher learning. And that's the same case you're presenting in terms of the ownership of the lodges. Yes, foreign partnership is not a bad idea, but a minimum of Bahamian control. We should not be apologetic for saying that we as a country are capable of doing things, because the naysayers, and this is how they think that we are ignorant to certain things, the naysayers who say they're going to Cuba are not going to tell you that 51% of all fishing in Cuba is owned by the government. Okay, that's a minimum. There is no non-Cuban lodge in Cuba. It doesn't exist. That's their policy. There is no do-it-yourself angler in Cuba. It does not exist. There's a company with many mothership operations. It's called Avalon. And the Cuban government licensed them to run the entire fishing operations in Cuba, and the Italian-Argentinian group. And all of these companies that are telling the government that they're going to boycott us don't want you to know that Cuba, who don't have 1/20th of the flats the Bahamas have, and yet they go to Cuba, they can't even dream of having a lodge in Cuba. That's the policy of the Cuban government, and they do not apologize for it.
Okay, we have to take another break here. This is the platform. We take this break as we continue to talk about the fly fishing industry. We'll come right back.